Welcome everyone to this August 7th edition of What's Happening in Crypto with the Crypto Lark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. Today's top stories: banks are not your friend, the Chinese central government continues to exert control, and the ETF dramas continue. Bitcoin $6,893 continuing its slide down and dragging the rest of the market with it, although there is one bright light: Ethereum Classic up 7.78% in anticipation of being listed on Coinbase, but also having been listed over on the Robinhood trading app. Quick public service advisory as well: please take care of your mental health in these times of down markets. I know that as the bear market drags on, people can be getting quite depressed. Remember, life is more than just crypto. Keep active, eat well. Don't turn to drugs and alcohol. They are not your friends and certainly do not help in times of depression. Always ask for help. Remember, money is just money. Life is so much more important than all of this. Take a break, get out of the house, put down your phone, stop looking at the markets, and just take a bit of perspective on things. Just a quick reminder for everyone that life is much bigger than all this, guys, even though crypto is a very exciting industry. On to our banks. Damning report finds that the banking industry is an oligopoly that exploits its customers. Now, this is particularly about the Australian banking system, in case you need a reminder of why Bitcoin is so important and why the banks have really become the enemy of the people in so many ways. The article says the reality of Australia's oligopolistic banking system means the biggest banks are now regularly exploiting the inertia of existing customers, maintaining the market position with persistently opaque pricing, conflicted advice and remuneration arrangements, and a lack of easily accessible information that induces their customers to maintain loyalty to unsuitable products. The banks are not your friends. The banks work together to basically screw everyone over, and this has played out so many times. This is really one of these cases of projection. Every time the banks come out talking trash on Bitcoin, they're projecting out the very things that they do. Oh, Bitcoin's used for money laundering. See, well, dollars and pounds are used for money laundering. Or Bitcoin's used for crime. Well, most crime, drug trading or whatever it might be, happens in dollars and euros and all that stuff. Remember, their business model is extremely threatened by Bitcoin. And that's part of the excitement of being involved in Bitcoin overall. And when you see news stories like this, that change cannot come soon enough. Jamie Dimon back in the news, returning to Bitcoin bashing, calling cryptocurrency a scam. Dimon suggested that governments may move to shut down cryptocurrency because of an inability to control them. I think Jamie doesn't realize that's the point. Governments can't control them, and governments also can't flip a switch to shut Bitcoin off. It doesn't work like that, Jamie. And I think he knows it doesn't work like that. But again, we see Jamie Dimon coming out talking trash on Bitcoin. Now, it's very interesting because JP Morgan has a very successful blockchain department of their company, not to mention that I'm sure they've been dabbling in Bitcoin more than we realize. For him to be coming out again, trash talking Bitcoin, is Jamie just trying to buy the dip? Is he trying to force the markets even lower? Or maybe he just bought at a high and now is regretting his decision. Hard to say. I think it's probably more of a case of him trying to manipulate markets yet again. Thanks, Jamie. Goldman Sachs plans on crypto custody offering despite the bleak market predictions. Now, that is really interesting. Goldman Sachs, again, no hero of the people here and no big fan of mine, without a doubt, but they have been taking it more seriously than, for example, JP Morgan. Whereas Goldman Sachs is saying, hey, you know what? Our clients are interested in this. We want to offer our clients different services. And so actually Goldman Sachs offering a custodianship service for crypto funds is pretty important. And hey, look, we've seen a lot of other custodianship offerings coming on board. I mean, the Coinbase custodianship is massive. Ledger also working big on getting custodianship in for these big institutions. But you have to keep it real. Goldman Sachs has got a lot of big clients, and instead of jumping ship to a new provider like Ledger, they're more likely to stay with someone who they've been working with for years. Over in China, Weiwei's Beijing studio has been destroyed by the government. Now, I bring up this story because this says so much about the situation in China right now. Ai Weiwei is an artist, and they are so threatened by someone they cannot control that they literally have to go and destroy his studio. They're so threatened of criticism, they're so threatened of things that they can't manipulate and control themselves, that this is their reaction. And we've seen a lot of stories coming out of China, like this one. University Research Institute partners to form Blockchain Research Center. China is taking the approach of blockchain, not Bitcoin. Because blockchain they can control. They can have their own private chains, and they can put pressure on the CEOs of different Chinese companies, for example, that are launching blockchain projects. But Bitcoin no one controls. And there is a reason why China has come so hard down on Bitcoin in particular. It's the same reason that Jamie Dimon hates it. It's the same reason the banks are threatened by it. They can't control it, and is a threat to their power, which is again why Bitcoin is so damn exciting. Chinese region to shut down illegal Bitcoin miners by September. We see more and more of these stories coming out of China of them cracking down on Bitcoin OTC desks, on Bitcoin miners. It's amazing, of course, that Bitmain is still so heavily operational in China, although they have been expanding their global reach because they probably see the writing is on the wall, at least in the short term, for Bitcoin in China. Of course, is this simply an opening for the Chinese government to come in with their own cryptocurrency that they control? Could be. Over in India, Indian state partners with Mahindra to build a blockchain district. We are seeing a fairly similar story playing out over in India, and it's unfortunate because I know there are, again, just like in China, there are so many Indian enthusiasts of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but the Indian government does not think the same. Again, governments don't really represent you, they represent power in their own self-interests with your tax money, ironically. But they are taking, again, we like blockchain, but we don't really like Bitcoin approach. Now, we are still waiting on legislation to be passed over in India to tell us definitively one way or the other what is going to happen. But again, we keep seeing this narrative come up. Oh yeah, we like blockchain. That Bitcoin stuff though, I don't know about that. A credible source says the CBOE VanEck Solid X Bitcoin ETF is near certainty to get approved. That could, of course, be very big. Now, obviously, let's see the proof be in the pudding here until I actually see a press release from the SEC saying we have approved this particular ETF. Everything is just speculation. How credible that source actually is, we will find out in the coming weeks, I suppose. And in a typical back and forth fashion, sources within the SEC saying that we don't even have jurisdiction to be looking into Bitcoin for an ETF decision, particularly about the underlying asset itself. Curious statements from the SEC in the run-up to that potential announcement. And finally, a bit of a warm and fuzzy for you at the end of the news stories today. Bitcoin-funded charity in Africa? Yes, says Paxful. Paxful has been pushing their Built with Bitcoin idea forward, having built not just wells in Rwanda, but also building schools and a nursery and different things like this. And they're continuing their work. They have very big goals on what they want to do in Africa, which is very encouraging to see that even in the times of the down market, people can still give. Because no matter how bad your portfolio may be hurting, there's probably someone else out there in the world that would absolutely love to have a little bit of that money. Even a few dollars can always help out. If you want to help the guys over at Paxful building schools in Rwanda and helping to build wells in Rwanda, you can donate through the Zamzam Water Project. Link will be down below. I've just donated a little bit. Every few dollars can help, guys. And even in the times of the rough markets, it's always a good time for giving. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Let me know what you think about any of today's stories down below in the comment section. Thumbs up the video and share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Join the conversation over on Twitter. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.